Well, on the Rachel Cruze show, we talk a lot about budgeting. And so many of you are like, Rachel, stop talking about budgeting. But for real, a budget is the one part of your financial walk that you are gonna see so much growth. You are gonna get control like you've never had control before. And you're actually gonna be able to tell your money where to go. And so it is such a powerful tool, and it's something I live by and I want everyone to. But I hear from some of you watching, they're like, yeah, well, I can't do a budget because, or I don't want to do a budget because. So let's break down the 5 top excuses that I hear on why people don't want to do a budget. Number 1, I just don't want to hassle with it. Yeah, that's what I hear from people. You just don't want to hassle with it. Okay, you just don't want to hassle with retiring. You just don't want to hassle with building wealth. You just don't want to hassle with saving money. You just don't want to hassle with spending money. You just don't want to hassle with giving. Okay. You have to embrace it. I'm telling you this. Yes, okay, I know it feels like a chore. I know it feels daunting. I know it feels like, oh, I work hard. I should just be able to enjoy my money. But listen, the things that you are doing with your money that you have no idea what's even happening, the fact that that is how you're living your life financially, are you getting by? Some of you, yeah. Some of you, no. But even if you're just getting by, it's not taking you where you want to go. So embracing the intentionality of saying, okay, I am going to tell my money exactly where to go. I'm not kidding. It's gonna show you so much of what you're doing with your money that you may not really like, that you may want to change. And it's also going to allow you to really step forward into where you want to go in the future. You are the one that's in control. Remember, a budget does not limit your freedom. A budget gives you freedom. There is a level of freedom you will have when you have control of your money with a budget. So it's worth the hassle. And here's the other great thing. When you do it for multiple months, it becomes a part of your routine. It doesn't feel like a hassle anymore. It feels like normal. Like this is just what we do. And then once you're out of debt and you have a fully funded emergency fund and you're on baby steps 4 through 7, you get to let your foot off the gas a little bit. You get to raise up some of those numbers. You could have larger categories so you don't feel like you're having just to watch every single penny. It loosens up. But those of you that are in debt and don't have an emergency fund, a budget is worth the hassle, I'm telling you. The second reason I hear people do not want to do a budget is it stresses them out. I've heard this before. Oh, it just stresses me out to look. Like, oh, I just don't want to look. I just want to look. Okay, I promise. For majority of people, it's not as bad as what you're making it out to be in your head. The fact that it's stressing you out means that you don't know exactly where your money's going. You're a little nervous that your bills are really high and you don't really know if you have the money, but it comes out of your checking account. Or you put it on a credit card, it just seems to work out. The stress is gonna catch up with you. I'm telling you, just face that monster, face that scary thing right in the eyes and say, I'm going to control you, money. I'm gonna control you. So the fact that it stresses you out, there's a level of fear there. And listen, you have to get in reality. When you live above it and you just live in that emotion of fear and, oh, it stresses me out, you're not gonna get very far, okay? So dive down deep, hit the reality in the nose and say, I'm going to focus on what is true. And it's gonna be the best way. I promise you're not gonna regret doing a budget. Even if it stresses you out, it won't stress you out anymore because you're in control. It's up to you, you can do it. Number 3, it's never worked for me in the past. Now this is a real thing. A budget can be really hard, especially if you just try it 1 month and it doesn't work and you're like, oh my gosh, we spent so much on food, or this was way more expensive than I thought. I don't know what to do. It just feels like, oh, it feels impossible. That's why I always say, stick with it for 90 days. Give yourself 3 months to let your budget work. So if you feel like it doesn't work for you, more than likely it's because you gave up too early. So stick with it. Number 4, people say a lot, well, I just don't know how to do one, which is very valid, okay? There is a lot of options out there on how to budget. You don't know exactly which one to do, when you do it, all of it. So just a couple of rules of thumb. I always say do a zero-based budget, income for the month minus expenses, which expenses include giving and saving. Everything you put money towards minus that income equals 0. Every dollar is assigned to a category. That's a zero-based budget. You do it before the month begins. And again, you wait 3 months and watch it play out. So keep with it for 3 months. So that's the basics, okay? But there's a lot in there, I know. There's a lot of moving factors. So what you can do, you can write it out on a sheet of paper, you can put it on Excel, I don't care. I use irregular, it's my favorite budgeting app, it's so great. And now it's a part of Ramsey Plus. So if you can click the link below, you can go check that out. Download irregular and just see, okay, this is exactly where every single dollar is going. It's right there visually and it's gonna walk you through. I promise they make it so simple to understand. Number 5, I have an inconsistent income. This is a big one why people don't budget because your income is different every month. So Rachel, how do I do a zero-based budget if I don't know my income? Okay, I get this because I am very commission-based at my job, so like my income changes every single month. Winston's not as much, mine does. So we never really know exactly how much we're gonna make each month, but what you have to do is you have to guesstimate. You have to just predict as close as possible, this is what we're gonna make. And then you're gonna make sure your 4 walls are covered: food, shelter, utilities, transportation. Those are the first things that are covered. And then under that, prioritize the rest of your expenses. So what happens when the money comes in, if it's less than what you were expecting, some of those expenses down below just may not get paid. You may not say, okay, we're just not gonna go shopping this month, or we're not gonna do this. We thought we would, we'll move that to next month. You may not be able to do certain things, but you have it listed out in priority, so it makes it easy to make that decision. Or you have more money that comes in. Yay, those are always the best months. So I would really recommend putting a little bit aside so when you have some down months coming up in the future, you can pull from the savings to make sure that your budget lines up as well. So a couple of options for you inconsistent income earners, but I get it, it can be really difficult. But again, planning ahead is what's key. Okay, so maybe I hit on one of the excuses that you had for not budgeting. So again, embrace it, you guys. Embrace it, because I'm telling you, it's the number one thing when it comes to your money that's gonna allow you to have so much control over what's going on. Oh, I want it for all of you. I want you to feel that freedom. Now, if you are new to budgeting, I have a baby step 1 budgeting guide, and it's gonna walk you through and answer so many of your questions. So if you wanna check that out, make sure to click the link in the description. All right, happy budgeting, because remember, I want you to take control of your money, which is a budget, and create a life you love.